Welcome back to the studio. Today I'm doing things a little bit reversed, and I do this sometimes. I went ahead and shot a video, and I'm going to do the introduction after now. And I do this sometimes for a variety of reasons. Today I did it because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to shoot the video, number one, and number two, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do an introduction before I shot the video. I didn't want to do an introduction there. In fact, I didn't do any talking there at all. I'm going to do a voiceover. But what today's video is going to be about is really about the first quilt shop that I went to here in Ohio when I moved back. And there were a couple little tiny shops around me, but they really didn't amount to a whole lot. So the first real shop that I went to really came about when I had to have my machine serviced, Bernina. And I think it was one of my machines where the machine sounded like it was sewing, but the foot was just kind of going, it wasn't actually going all the way down, or the needle wasn't going on, the needle bar wasn't going all the way down. It was just kind of like hinting that it was going to go down. So it was a pretty easy fix, but that was the first time I had to go to the shop. The shop is called Creative Fires, and it's in Springfield, Ohio. And it's about 40-minute drive from where I'm at. But that was the first time I went there. And it owned and operated by Bob and Catherine Fowler. And mostly I've always dealt with Catherine. Bob, I think, deals more with the pellet stoves, the fire part of the operation. But Catherine's real down to earth, very, very friendly, and very easy to work with. So she took care of my machine and got it working again. Since then, over the years, I've since purchased 2 more Bernina machines. You've seen both of them here in the studio. One is the one I work on here, my piecing machine, and the other one is the one that usually sits behind me. We used it for a hooped quilting video. I've recently taken that down and packed it up and taken it to the other house. But we're going to take you to the other to the shop, and it's just a series of clips that I put together. The reason I did it in a series of clips is a couple things. I didn't want to get anybody in the video because I don't want to have to go through getting permission slips to air photos of people on the internet. And number 2, it was quite busy because they were having a shop hop, and you'll see the little reddish pink bunny rabbit that all the girls had to look for and get their picture with to prove that they were at that particular shop. So we'll go through the clips, and it won't be very long. I did purchase some fabric today. Mostly it was just a few yards of batik and 1 white. I'm gonna make a 16 patch block with some 2.5-inch strip batiks that I have. I've got a bunch of Christmas ones. So I got the red and green were really, the red had roses on it. That's why I bought it. The green were really ideas for maybe a border. And I also got this, which I'd never seen before. It's a 505. It's a temporary adhesive, but it's a glue stick. So I thought, wow, I'm gonna have to try that. And the reason I went today, I have a quilting buddy here. I've talked about her before. Her name is Marguerite, and she's from Switzerland. Her husband was from Ireland, but he passed away a couple of years ago. But she and I are quilting buddies. I pick her up when we go to the Quilting Guild, and when she wants to go to a quilt shop, she calls and says, can we go to Springfield, or can we go somewhere else? So today she needed to go. She's been doing a paper piece hexagon quilt, and she ran out of fabric for a stem because she's doing an applique on it. And I brought over some fabrics, but none of them worked for her. So we went today to appease her appetite for new fabric. So that's why we went today. I stopped working long enough to take her up. And I also bought 2 things off Marketplace for the studio. But she finished a quilt, and I might slide the camera over in a second and let you see. This quilt is very special because the heart appliques in there were made by Bernina, which was my first applique teacher back in the 90s. And she always, the way that she taught applique was from heart, because it has an inward point, an outward point, a curve, and a straight line. So her beginning applique class was always a heart. And I took her heart class probably 3 or 4 times just because I enjoyed spending time with her. But over the years, she probably appliqued thousands of hearts. Sometimes, I mean, she would do them anytime she liked fabric. That's what she would do. She would sometimes send blocks to her sister, and her sister would piece them together and give them away. Sometimes she would piece them together. But after she passed away, I inherited a lot of them. And I gave some to Marguerite, but what Marguerite did was turn around and piece them into a quilt and then give the quilt top back to me. I'm supposed to quilt it, which I'm going to do, and then Marguerite's going to put the binding on, but the quilt is going to be for me, which I thought was very sweet. It's Christmas hearts, and then Marguerite filled in all the rest of the fabric. So this will be a double special because both Marguerite pieced it and Bernice did the hearts, which are most likely Hoffman, old vintage Hoffman Christmas fabrics. So I'll show you that. I don't know that I'll do a big sign off after the video. Probably just do, thank you at the end with writing. So I won't have to do a boring blah, blah, blah at the end for you. That's going to be about it for here. I hope you enjoyed the video. All of the samples that you see in the shop today, they have kits for it. They're very well stocked because they have the shop hop, but they always do really, really well with kits. I will tell you, there are a couple things in the shop that I have bought over the last 2 years that I'm very anxious to do, but I haven't been able to do because of the remodeling either here or there. This property here between the house and the carriage house just recently had 2 new roofs put on it. So that's been one of the things that we've been doing. We're also putting all new windows in the main house, and we sanded all the floors in the main house and the upstairs. I feel like I'm on a treadmill that has the video that you're supposed to watch and exercise, and they told me that the video would be 30 minutes, and I've been on it now for 5 years. It doesn't feel like it'll ever end, but it has to end soon because I won't have any money left. But we're going to go to the quilt shop now and see all the beautiful fabric, all the beautiful samples. You'll see a card at the end that has their information on it, so if you see a sample you like, you can certainly contact them and let them know what it was, and you'll certainly know what state we're in by all of their samples. So I hope you enjoy this shop. Creative Flyers is located in Springfield, Ohio. It's just off of I-70, maybe 2 minutes is off of I-70. It borders a residential and a industrial warehouse area, always plenty of parking. It's very easy to get into. There is a little step there at the front door though. So that's something you always have to watch out for. A really beautiful day the day we got there, and beautiful Ohio sky. The first day that I went was again for my Bernina. I've since been back to buy 2 machines. They always have feet in stock and all of the parts that you need. So it's a really great place to go for Bernina accessories as well. She carries a lot of thread also. They have both Mettler and Isacord thread, but I love these wool mats. I have 2 whole ironing stations with mats on the full board, and I have these little ones by my sewing machines. Love the wool mats. They really retain the heat well. Those are my fabrics that I got, and here's a really beautiful, kind of looks like an Ohio star sort of, but I like the red, white, and blue. They do really great samples in the shop, and anything they have a sample for, they have a kit for. And there's a card, although I did put it sideways. There's a card at the end with their number. Marguerite, who I went with, bought a kit for this quilt. It's a really beautiful autumnal quilt pattern. And there you can clearly see where we're at. You'll see plenty of Ohio samples. There's that autumnal quilt again. Looks like a little echinacea quilt down there, and some pumpkins, and more Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Hey, what's round on both ends and high in the middle? Ohio. That right there is a pattern that kit that I bought. I went back and made sure that I had extra fabric for it because I love it. Marguerite also bought the same fabric, but she made a king's crown out of the quilt. I've already quilted that for her. They carry a large selection of flannel fabric, both Christmas and traditional fabric. I don't use a lot of flannel myself because I am never ever cold. I can't imagine sleeping under a flannel quilt. Now this is my favorite stuff in the world. I love the batiks. I don't know that I've ever gone to her shop and not left with at least one batik. So you're going to get a nice little view of all the different colors of batiks they have. If I could, I would take them all home with me. I just love how they iron so crisp, they sew so precise, and they can look both vintage and traditional and brand new. I don't know, modern. Got a little Halloween mixed in here. I was in the shop crawling on the floor trying to get some of the best angles for these shots. I think the women were looking at me a little funny, but they look at me funny whenever I'm in the quilt shop anyway. They're like, what's this guy doing in here? Oh, those are beautiful. But I was after green and red. That Halloween quilt on the left, I made that a couple years ago. More Ohio samples, a beautiful pumpkin. On the lower left, we have some Laura Heine. And again, you can see more thread. And on the back wall, they have a whole row of Isacord. Laura Heine is a friend of mine. I love to see her. I haven't seen her in a while, though, because we haven't been to Quilt Market. She is so delightful. There's the Isacord. She also has a special on Isacord. You buy so many, you get one free, but I'm not going to tell you what the number is because I don't remember off the top of my head. But I've taken advantage of that many, many times. It kind of helps get you, grows your thread collection. And you can see a lot of seasonal little table runners up there. Go fly a kite. She does have a classroom in the back. But I've never been to one of the classes because I don't usually take too many classes anymore. There's the autumnal quilt again. Marguerite wanted me to get another photo of it. Really beautiful. I was tempted myself, but there's no point in me buying another kit. And these are some of her pre-cuts. I really like that one there on the left. Very watercolory. I think I'm going to get a close-up of it in a second because I really liked it. And I like the geraniums. My mom and I used to grow geraniums, and in the end of the fall, we would take the geraniums out of the dirt, take them down in the basement, hang them upside down, and then we'd leave them there all winter. And in the spring, we would plant them again, and they would grow. This is one I think is so pretty. And the wool mats again. You can almost see my feet in reflection. Again, Catherine is the owner, but her daughter Carrie is in there quite often. So if you called, you likely would get Carrie or Catherine. They're both really wonderful. These are the fabrics that I ended up buying. I think I got 3 yards of all of them except for the roses. I just got 1 yard of the red rose. The greens I bought 3 yards for border possibilities, and the white 3 yards for background. And the roses, I always buy rose fabric. Roses remind me of my mother. We have some reindeers in there and some pine needles and just some little triangles. Red, green, and gold are my 3 favorite colors. And I think this is a repeat. I think it snuck in there twice. Maybe it's not. This looks like a little different angle. This is the pellet stoves. They do sell, that's the creative fire part. They're Harmon stoves. I think they have a much broader selection than just the one. I've seen a catalog there. As I said, I'm almost never cold. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I sleep with the window open all winter in my bedroom because I love the cold. So I would not be needing a pellet stove. And this is the card, so if you want to get in touch with Bob and Catherine, this is their telephone number and address. They have a website as well, and you can contact them by email. And thanks for stopping by.